Do you find yourself bored at work while eating your lunch?
Do you watch the clock waiting for work to be over?
As you're sitting in meetings, do you find your boss's voice sounding like a howling banshee?
Then don't wait another minute. Tune into the Paranormal Peeps podcast.
We are ready to entertain you.
Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
All right, you are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuckity fuck. And I'm one of your hosts, Alanna.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we are here coming at you with our weird Monday vibes, but that's just
Monday afternoon vibes.
Yeah. Happy Friday or whatever it is, wherever you are. We hope you survived Monday, which was a holiday here in Canada land. So happy Victoria Day. Who knows? I think they have Armed Forces Day. My page a day calendar said it the other day, and I was like, oh, that must be the US. And then we just have Victoria Day, and it probably has something to do with military or something. I just don't know. It's just, and everyone usually just calls it May 2-4, and it's a long weekend, and you just enjoy it. You don't ask questions.
Yeah, it was May long weekend. Woo!
Except not for everybody. Kelsey has a day off, obviously, but I went to the weed store, and he's like, oh, we're open every day. So I was like, oh, I'm glad you're open. And he's like, we're open every day. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, even Christmas. So I was like, oh, you mean every day then?
Wow,
Cool.
even my work isn't open on Christmas Day. That shit's
Right?
intense.
Right? He's like, hey, not everybody celebrates Christmas. And I'm like, that is very true.
And
the
some
world
people
is
need a lot of weed to
shut
deal
down.
with their families.
Exactly. You need that Christmas cannabis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now that's why I'm high. No. Let's give you to my fun fact.
Ooh,
Because this is
yes.
a normal episode and we haven't done one of those in a while, and next episode's gonna be weird. So let's just do a freaky fact or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, I stumbled upon this because I listened to the Atlas Obscura podcast, who did a tiny episode about this chipwreck. That's right, chipwreck.
A chipwreck? Like potato chips?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of. In November 2006, a shipwreck washed ashore upon, I think it was Hatteras Island off the coast of like North Carolina. So 4 containers fell off a transport ship during a storm along what is called, it's often called the graveyard of the Atlantic due to the number of shipwrecks and because of all the storms and the shoals, which is like, I guess, underwater sand dunes that move or something. So like,
Ooh. Okay.
lots of wrecks. So the National Park Service arrived and opened the container, the one container that had not just disappeared to like the bottom of the ocean, and it had spilled most of its contents on shore, but still included quite a lot of Cool Ranch, spicy nacho, and nacho cheese Doritos.
Were they still edible?
They were all still in the bags. Yep.
Yeah. Woohoo! They probably
Right?
floated because of all the stupid air or nitrogen or whatever the fuck the bags are
Yes.
half filled with. The shipping containers just float to the surface. Woo!
And it all washes up on the beaches, and apparently it happens like all the time there. Different things will
Wow,
wash up.
that's fun. $1
Nacho
million.
cheese, but it is your
Whee!
cheese. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. If it was Canadian money, because ours can get wet, but the Americans still made of paper, so wah wah.
Yeah, theirs isn't
Sucks.
as durable. Maybe you want gold, a shipping container full of gold, because gold is.
Yeah.
I think they just said gold is the most stable, like right now, this last month or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, shipping container full of gold.
I mean, that would be nice if it didn't
Yeah.
sink.
Right?
But this was
Gold
full of
and potato chips.
gold triangles. I don't know. Like those cheeses we call them bricks of gold in my house. Balderson's
Yeah.
cheddar. Yes, there was so much though. One person just like backed up his truck and filled it up.
Yeah. Go for it.
Right? And so many people just stocked up on so many chips that the one guy at his grocery store didn't sell any more Doritos for like 5 months after that, he said.
Okay, that part sucks.
Just Doritos. I'm sure he sold, all the other chips.
Yeah.
And it said that over the years they've had other things wash up, like French porcelain dolls in the 1850s.
Creepy.
The little girls really liked them. They were like, "Oh, we could never afford these." Which was
Okay,
pretty
that part's
cool.
nice, but fucking,
Yeah,
I think of Doll Island, like in Mexico, and just fucking
true.
horrifying if you went to a beach and it's covered in creepy ass broken porcelain dolls.
Yes, staring up at you with their dead eye, lifeless eyes.
Yeah. Ah.
And then one time they had a bunch of fancy hats wash
Oh.
ashore, and one time a bunches of bananas. So
Oh.
much so that the lady was like complaining. One lady was like, "But bananas for lunch, bananas for breakfast, bananas for everything," which I thought was so funny. I
Nice.
want to live there.
Yeah.
Just see what comes next.
Sounds wild. It's better than
Right.
what some places get the feet that wash ashore.
Yeah, that's in the Salish Sea off the coast of British Columbia. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a wild one too. I mean, I know they like kind of are like, okay, yeah, we figure like the ankle bones go quickly, and that kind of makes sense why there's still bones in shoes and stuff, but it still doesn't make sense why so many of them are missing people and stuff like that. They did a good episode on it on Sinisterhood recently, actually.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Cool.
you're right. Yeah, definitely. I would rather have the chips, yeah,
Yeah.
than the disembodied feet while you're just
Right?
strolling down the sandy beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's fun.
anyway, that has nothing to do with our topic today, but
No, not at all.
oh, yeah, we're talking about celebrity conspiracies, which
Yeah.
is always a wild time.
Yeah, I guess I had heard of a couple. I didn't really realize how in depth some of these are or too
Oh
much.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
it's
it was
I
fun
wonder if
kind of
it's
reading little
like
blurbs about all of them.
yeah, because you hear about them, but then you don't know if people actually believe in them or if it just keeps getting like retold and retold like a game of telephone or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
I know Pat like saw my notes laying there because I had printed them this time and they
mm.
were face up, and he saw my first headline thing and was like, "Pfft, no." So wait till we get to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know Kelsey's got some about some of her favorite musicians. Excited.
No offense to anybody who believes conspiracy or doesn't believe them. That's not what we're trying to do in this episode. We just wanted to talk about them. So
Fine. I like to
don't
believe
come
in a
at
lot
us.
of outlandish things. So
Don't come at us.
no, and I don't think we're gonna pick any ones that are like kind of mean, like when they speculate about people's parents not being their parents and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll try
These
to be nice.
ones were kind of weird. I just realized there was a little bit of theme looking through them. As Alanna said,
Oh,
when I was looking through a bunch of different lists, I realized the ones that kept coming up multiple times were different ones about the Beatles, the musicians.
right.
And I thought it was kind of interesting because I like the Beatles, and
Hot take.
I thought it would be fun.
They're a really good band, you guys. Sorry, just kidding.
I do have a tattoo on the side of my foot that says "All you need is love," and the other side says "Don't you forget about me." From
I thought you said on the
Breakfast
side of your
Club.
butt, but I know
No,
that's
the side of
not
my foot. Foot. FOOT.
do that. I was just like, wait, if anybody else heard butt, I want to clarify. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. I like your foot
yeah.
tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do like the Beatles. I know they've had controversy the years, don't want to get into that, but I thought these were kind of two little conspiracies that'd be fun to cover.
Nice. Can you hear
yeah.
Pat just turned on the TV super loud? I'm sorry.
No.
You can't. Okay, good. Never mind then.
The first one we'll get into is there's a conspiracy around who actually was the one that shot John Lennon.
Okay. I may have accidentally
I
read
think
a title about this.
I had a feeling you probably knew of at least this one. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Okay, go. I know nothing.
When I
really
saw it, I
don't
was
know.
like, what the hell? It's so
Okay,
weird.
yeah.
No
Okay.
offense, but it is, I don't know, it's fucking weird.
But
So-
no. Yeah, it's one of those you just react to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So former Beatles member John Lennon, he was shot on the evening of December 8th, 1980. I guess I didn't really I normally more focus on Beatles music and just listening to it. I don't get a lot into the fandom and the history of it and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't really know the details of this.
Mhm.
I knew he had been shot and the guy was arrested and he's been in jail ever since, but I didn't
Right.
know that John Lennon had been shot 5 times in the back as he was leaving his New York
Oh.
apartment. I didn't realize it was that
Okay.
that. I thought maybe once or twice, but yeah, that was quite a lot.
Right. Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, it was kind of before our time, so we were not there for the headlines, only the after.
Yeah, and they said it was somewhat religiously motivated, I guess, by the gentleman who was arrested, Mark Chapman. And he was arrested just moments later. Very quick happened
Okay.
the shooting. He was arrested or
That's good because he
in
clearly had
custody.
some mental illness of some kind.
Yeah, I didn't get too much into that. But a number of people believe that someone else was actually responsible for shooting John Lennon, and that is well-known horror novelist Stephen King. Wow.
But okay, yeah.
Which I was not expecting when I was looking up lists. It'd be like, Stephen King shot John Lennon. And I was like, what the hell?
No, I literally, until we were looking up this stuff, had never heard that in my life. And I was
Right?
like, what the shit? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yet they arrested him right there, and it clearly wasn't him. So
Maybe not.
Sure.
Huh?
maybe.
We'll get into it.
What do we know? We weren't there.
Yeah, we weren't even born yet. So a 2013 article noted that Lennon was killed, quote, this is from the some of the websites around across that were talking about the conspiracy, saying he was killed, quote, under orders from Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, communicating to the then unknown writer, meaning Stephen King, through magazines. And they also stated that when Stephen King was run over by a car in 1999, it was actually part of the cover-up, and that they were trying to kill Stephen King to cover up their, tracks.
Oh my god. And that's the way they do it, right?
Yeah.
Get him with a car, like his evil car book. Christine.
Maybe.
Well, and now
that
he
does
has...
get mentioned. That does get mentioned.
Oh, Lordy Lord. I do love Mr. Mercedes, though. Oh my god, speaking of...
Haven't read or watched it, but...
It's less about an evil car and more about, the evil kind of people that take a car and plow it into a group of people. Those kind of monsters that actually exist in our world. And they made it into a really good miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So
crazy.
the believers, they note that Chapman, the gentleman arrested, and Stephen King look somewhat similar. If you,
Oh my god. Okay.
yeah, they do look somewhat.
Okay.
I described them as both having large, like, wire frame glasses, kind of like medium to medium heavier builds at the time in like the 1980s, and somewhat like kind of shaggy hair. So like not overtly like twins or anything like that, but and some
Okay.
similar appearances. It's hard. There'll be pictures on the website, and there are some pictures in the drive if you want to look at them, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, the only pictures I found where he's got the glasses, like he looks fat. He looks more like Ed Kemper than Stephen King in that picture to me, but
A
I'll
bit,
have
but
to
if you
look.
actually look
Yeah.
up Stephen King in the 1980s, he
Mm-hmm.
does look more like that than the Stephen King we know today. So,
Oh, those
yeah.
was his drinking years. He was more
Yeah, he has a
bloated.
very different, very different, like, even facial structure, everything. Very different.
I'll have to
Uh,
look up the drive. Yeah.
yeah. So, the main person, going along with, like, this conspiracy or, like, um, kind of bringing this into the public's attention is conspiracy theorist Stephen Lightfoot, and he is the
Another
most known
Stephen.
member. Yeah.
Sorry.
He runs the website called LennonMurderTruth.com, which I did scroll through and took some sections from. Cause hey, I mean, yeah, it's a little wild. No offense. But, just to quickly summarize, he kind of argues that Ronald Reagan and Nixon wanted Lennon dead because of his strong anti-war stance, which a lot of people like. I think John Lennon, yeah, like he was very, very outspoken about being against the war and everything like that. And
Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
yeah. So Lightfoot states that in old issues of Time magazine, Newsweek, and the US News and World Report magazines, they all spoke about, he says, John Lennon's shooting before it actually happened, like in the months leading up to it. I kind of clicked
Oh.
through like some of the articles he has pictures of that are saying some of these things, and I didn't really get it, but and
Couldn't
it's
connect
not
those dots,
talking,
eh?
no, and it's not talking about John Lennon, it's not talking about Stephen King, but it's like talking about, like, I don't know, seeing somebody shot laying on the pavement and being shot in the back, and like just stuff that it's like, yeah, after the fact you can kind of pick and choose random shit out of anything and be like, oh, they predicted it. Yeah.
Weird.
And
Okay.
what makes it even more weird is that he believes like these articles were all before it happened and that they were used to communicate with Stephen King, who at the time was an unknown author yet to get like his big break. So he was,
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really get if he's trying to say like they were talking about it happening, or if they were trying to say that the government was communicating with Stephen King through the newspaper and telling him who to target. I'm not exactly sure which way he was trying to go with that, but that's what he says.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
one
what
of the
I'll say.
things he mentions, along with some other notes that he has about supposedly Stephen King referencing stuff in his
Yeah.
later books about him having shot John Lennon, saying that if King had murdered John Lennon, like, and he wanted to avoid the public knowing about him being a murderer, I guess, why would he have used John Lennon's song Instant Karma in The Shining book, as well as inspiring the title The Shining from the line in the Lennon song Instant Karma saying we all shine on, like he has publicly said that was the inspiration. So like obviously why would you want to like tie yourself to John Lennon if you're the one that shot him and you don't want anybody to know? But
you're like, yeah, I want to pay homage to
yeah,
this dude that I murdered.
yeah, that I
That
murdered how many years ago?
homicided. Yeah.
Yeah, that I homicided.
Sorry.
It's great.
I wanted
So from
it
the
to go.
words,
Yeah.
I know this is so weird, right? I'm sorry. It's just very weird.
Yeah. It's
All right.
it's loosey goosey.
So I didn't want to put any more words into Stephen Lightfoot's like mouth or try and summarize any more of what he says. So this is straight
no.
from his website verbatim. Okay.
Right from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. This is some of what he has to say on the website. Saying Stephen King is a murderer. He shot John Lennon in the back like the coward he is and stole a musical/political genius from all of you. He ruined your
Wow.
world deliberately, and now you are living in the nightmare he has created for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, until you put him in jail where he belongs, all of you are literally just his cowards. Decoy Chapman was in the police station while King shot John, and the police switched them behind the scenes. Chapman is acting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how the conspiracy started. It's like that's a big
Yeah.
cover up then.
Yeah. Nixon and Reagan facilitated this nightmare murder/assassination, as well as Yoko Ono. And then he puts in brackets, though there is little proof of her role, unlike the government codes in Time and Newsweek and U.S. News that nail King, Nixon, and Reagan.
Sure.
King won't deny it, never has, and is too smart to enrage the public that already knows he is guilty by lying to you now. He'd rather get
Right.
killed by a van than admit he did. He has confided to his friend who used to own that now closed bookstore, Stu, I think, that, quote, he, King, is afraid of getting fried.
I mean, aren't we all? Especially
right, yeah.
if you didn't commit the crime.
He continues saying, yes, the government probably did try to run King down in 1999 to shut my story up, as we all know how quickly the driver who failed was found dead at 41 after. King won't dare sue me either, because that would cast media attention on my hard, inconceivable evidence against him, and that would mean life in prison. Have you ever noticed how many of King's books dwell on life in prison? The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, etc.
Etc. Can't think of any more.
Two more.
He's just like, nope.
Is 2 things really a list? I don't know.
It's about as long of a list as I can come up with on the fly.
The closest King ever came to denying my claim that he killed John Lennon was in 1994 in Santa Cruz, California, when a girl asked him if he killed John Lennon. He said, no, dramatic long pause, comment. He just couldn't say no.
Because he likes to fuck with people, that's why.
Yeah. What are
Oh
the
my
chances
God.
that the van, quote unquote, accident and subsequent death of the driver happened as you were told? I say only 10%. What are the chances
the
that.
driver. I wasn't sure what
Yeah.
driver he was talking about. Okay.
Yeah, the driver of the van, sorry.
The van that ran him over per the CIA's orders. Okay, I'm following again.
What are the chances that King had the driver killed with or without help? I say 30%.
Okay.
What are the.
He doesn't back that up with anything.
What are the chances that the government concocted a plan to kill King to stop my expose and kill the driver after because he was a loose string? I say 70%, people. Think about it now. Are you ready? 6 years after I spent 6 months in Bangor with my quote-unquote van, so this is Stephen Lightfoot talking, with the slogan, Stephen King shot John Lennon. King was mowed down by a van with an unruly large Rottweiler dog distracting the driver. Can you people see the parallels to Cujo and Christine, the movie about a car who plays rock and roll that seemingly can't be killed? And a dog that kills people?
Can. But I'm going to need to smoke a little bit more weed before I can get on for the rest of this ride.
can you see how the government wanted all of you to say, geez, remember that guy with the van from California? And now King ends up being killed by a van. I guess if King did kill Lennon, his karma caught up with him, and we can't just let it go at that. I don't know. And we can just let it go at that.
Like, how many years?
Yeah, like 19 years. That's not tying up a loose string, by the way. Waiting 19 years to kill somebody.
And they got the other guy already, the patsy. if this guy is correct, then
who, as far as I know, isn't saying he didn't do it. So I don't know.
He's never denied it. Yeah, you're like, okay.
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's the theory that Stephen King killed John Lennon, I guess.
I can't believe he said he stood there with a sign in Bangor, which is, I don't know if he still lives there, but that's where Stephen King, like, he's from.
Yeah,
Maine,
he drove around with a van, actually, and he thinks that's why years later a van like tried to kill Stephen King, as they were trying to kind of say Stephen Lightfoot was seen for 6 months driving around a van saying Stephen King killed John Lennon, and now Stephen King gets run over by a van, and kind of subtly be like, oh, maybe Stephen Lightfoot's responsible.
He was the driver all along. The death was fate.
Yeah, Stephen Lightfoot also says that he received letters supposedly written by Stephen King that like asked him to like not reveal the truth and like all this stuff, but I think he has like excerpts of them, but it was really confusing when I was trying to understand what actually was going on. But there's no proof that Stephen King actually sent them to him. They were like slipped under his door and shit like that. So I don't know.
Right, and we all know what his handwriting looks like because he writes his books and we read them in his handwriting.
Right?
Like, okay.
Yeah. So that's the first one, which I thought was a little wild. And then I read this one, and then I was like, wow, shit. Like, this is also pretty crazy.
Sloppy bananas. Yeah, that's wild.
So the next like major, I'd say, Beatles conspiracy I ran across, and this is one that goes back to the like height of popularity with the Beatles in the middle of like Beatlemania across the world.
The most famous one.
Yeah, and that is, or one of them, I'd say for sure. That's the urban legend conspiracy theory that Paul McCartney died back in 1966.
I wonder if he's the first one they ever said he died and it's a clone.
I think so. Yeah, one of them at least, definitely.
It's pre-internet. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what like is crazy to me. I didn't realize this was like, I thought that was more of a new thing.
And it's rampant a lot. Yeah. I'll talk about it.
I thought it was more of like a recent, like the last maybe 30, 40 years. I didn't think it would go back. Like, like in 80 years, but yeah, it's crazy.
When you had to spread rumors by word of mouth.
For like 60 years. Yeah. Yeah, right.
And newspapers.
So, yeah, this alleges that Paul McCartney of the Beatles died back in September of 1966. And
so long ago.
Yeah. So basically the entire time. And this really gained popularity in 1969 among American college campuses, it seems. It was very prevalent through like different college campuses. And although rumors that Paul was ill, like sick, dated back to early like 1966, it wasn't until later that this bigger theory took the world by storm. The theory that Paul McCartney had died in a car crash, and to spare the public from the grief and keep the band together, the surviving members of the Beatles, along with MI5, helped replace him with a lookalike.
MI5? Okay, because we're in Britain. I'm like,
yeah.
No, you're not 5. And then I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. As if it wouldn't be to keep the money train flowing. If, you know.
Yeah. they gotta frame it that it's grief and all that stuff.
Right. It's for the
They s-
fans.
Yeah, they say that they replaced him with a lookalike, an orphan named William Campbell from Edinburgh. Some
Jeez.
things say this gentleman's name is actually Bill Shepherd, which was later abbreviated to Billy Shears. So all three of those names kind of get interchanged as they go through the rest of like the thing. But William Campbell,
Okay.
Bill Shepherd, and Billy Shears are all the look-alike.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Or there's
Yeah.
3 of them.
Dun dun
Take turns.
dun. Yeah, maybe they do.
Oh my
Maybe there's a
God.
conspiracy within this conspiracy.
Wow, you'd have to look a lot alike.
They actually do. I'll give them that. They look eerily similar.
Oh God.
Yeah, there is pictures
Okay.
online, and honestly, if I just pictured what I think in my head, young Paul McCartney looks like, it actually looks more like Billy Shears than Paul McCartney actually supposedly does. So, I kept
Right.
being
You
like,
only know from the famous pictures. Yeah.
yeah, when they have like zoomed in, they do look at least like they could be brothers. Like it's very, very similar.
Okay. So they're real people.
Like people break it
Yep.
down to like the height of their like ears and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, their faces look a lot alike.
Yeah, I see similarities with the William Shears
Yeah,
It says William Shears Campbell, but yeah. The eyebrows, the face shape, and the
yeah,
nose. Yeah.
yeah.
For
It's
sure.
definitely a lot more for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. So according to Beatles press officer Tony Barrow, who wrote about it actually in his book titled John, Paul, George, Ringo, and Me, he began receiving a number of calls first about like Paul being killed in a car crash, which he replied to saying that he'd recently spoke with Paul McCartney. So that was kind of like what they were initially trying to do to like quell the rumors, just be like, well, we spoke to him recently. He's obviously not dead.
Right.
But this later rumor was eclipsed that McCartney was going solo. This rumor that Paul McCartney died was later eclipsed that with the rumor that Paul McCartney was going solo and the Beatles were breaking up, backed by their disappearance from the public eye and postponing of their tour in 1966, which they say is the
Oh my
year
gosh.
McCartney died. So they say, oh yeah, like they withdrew from the public eye and postponed their tour while they figured the logistics of replacing Paul McCartney.
Right.
Yeah.
And explaining it to his parents and all that. You'd assume what they'd have to do.
Right?
And
Yeah.
they just moved on to the next like rumor. Oh, they're breaking up.
Yeah. They say that this is referenced in subtle details on a number of their albums after 1966. And those that believe that clues can be found in their lyrics and cover artwork. And by October 1969, it became an international phenomenon.
Wow.
Reached worldwide attention. In early 1967, the rumor resurfaced in London, this time saying that Paul had been killed in a traffic accident while driving along the M1 motorway on January 7th of that year. So that was like the year after. Apparently he died again.
Whoops.
In a different traffic accident.
He had one extra life and now he's game over. Like
yeah. This rumor was acknowledged and disputed in the February issue of the Beatles book, where they like talked about it, and you're like, he's fucking not dead. Everybody, come on.
Oh, it would just get so annoying on his side.
Yeah.
To have to hear that you're dead all the time.
Right? Just wake up. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm dead again. McCartney then alluded to the rumor during a press conference that was held around the release of the Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band in May of that year.
Don't they say there's something about that album cover? Yeah, that
Yeah,
there's a
we'll get
clue
to
in
it.
there. Okay.
It's weird. You can pick apart anything. I don't know. People
You
try
can
and
listen to
make
anything
cool
backwards and
Yeah, people try and make
Cheers.
cool artsy choices, and then you're like, "Ooh, it's proof that he's dead," or "It's proof of this." Fine.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because rumors of the Beatles using doppelgangers or lookalikes actually picked up steam when word got out that the Beatles did sometimes, in fact, use people to pretend to be them to distract fans while they were trying to exit hotels. So they did actually do this. They had hired people that looked similar enough to them and would like wear their clothes or like dress like them and wear wigs and stuff. So that, and they would like exit first out of this store, and then the actual real beat and like interact with fans, and then the real Beatles would like slip out the back. So
okay, so they had some body doubles to take off
yeah,
the heat.
yeah. So that kind of like added more fuel to the fire when that became public knowledge that they were doing that at some shows or in some cities. It definitely added fuel to the Paul McCartney's dead fire. So stories, stories began to circulate that they were also using lookalikes to perform on stage on one of their American tours that they did. And both Paul McCartney and George Harrison later refuted these claims that they would ever use a double on stage. They said they would never do that, but they said that they did use them to try and get away from certain like venues and that kind of stuff.
Because they were getting mobbed, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Something.
So by the mid 1960s, there was a journalist who was actually attending Paul McCartney's engagement party when, I wonder if Paul McCartney's mad about this. When a friend of the band told this journalist that Paul McCartney had been replaced. And this was supposedly Paul McCartney's friend that told a journalist this. Yeah, mate, he's been replaced. Like, I don't know if it was a joke or what. I'd be pissed.
Okay.
if you told me somebody replaced
Maybe if it was just the dry British humor way he said it, and the journalist was an American, and they were like, "Oh, he's serious."
Yeah, I don't really know. The Beatles also kind of became known for their supposed backmasking, which is recording audio backwards on something meant to be played forwards. And with the news of this, they're like people analyzing their lyrics and trying to figure out these decoded messages only like deepened and all that.
So that like was a technique that people recorded like that, or they thought?
Yeah, like they later, I ran across something saying they said that they didn't do this, but on the Wikipedia page, like I can play it for you, it actually has like a sample of one of their backmasking and what they claim it actually says. And you know what? After I read the thing of what it's supposed to say, I could hear it. Before that, and I could hear it very clearly. And before that, before I read what it was supposed to say, it sounded like gibberish to me.
Yeah, you hear like the EVPs and they're like, it sounds like this. But then sometimes they say what it's supposed to sound like, they play it again, and I'm like, I still don't hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, nope.
Yeah, this was the thing I said I was going to play for you. I'll just pull it up. It's just on the Wikipedia. Oh my god, which beginnings? I don't know. Where's the little... Oh, there we go. So it's from the song Revolution 9. So this is like the backmasking played normally. Oh, sorry, I'm turning the volume the wrong way. Number 9. So it's just saying number 9, which is what it's supposed to say. So that's what it was supposed to say. It just goes number 9, number 9.
They make fun of that one on The Simpsons because, yeah, Barney gets a girlfriend that's very Yoko Ono, and then it's just... the tape is her going number 8 and then him belching over and over again.
Classy.
Number 8. Yeah.
So this is what they say. It says, when you reverse that same number 9, some believes it sounds like turn me on, dead man, which is very weird. And I did start to be able to hear it. So let's see if you can too.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff sounds creepy.
So I will give them
they,
that, but they do claim that nothing that they've ever put on any of their albums, I guess, is supposed to be played backwards, and if people are finding words in it, then that's just them, and they never did it intentionally. So
right. It's
I
not
guess.
Twin Peaks, people. It's not supposed to be that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Um yeah, so yeah, like the analysis, but I feel like people were doing that time, like they're analyzing lyrics and everything they can. People still do that now. Um
Overanalyze, yeah.
yeah. And then in November 1968, the White Album was released, which was a self-titled album, and now people have referred to it as the White Album. With the track, and I think
Ah.
probably one of my at least top five, probably one or two spot favorite Beatles songs. That's Glass Onion, um, which goes
Oh,
through
I
a
don't think I
bunch
know
of
that one.
references and talks about a bunch of their songs.
Mm.
It was written by John Lennon, and in a later interview, he said that he was purposefully confusing listeners with lines such as "The Walrus was Paul," referencing the song "I Am the Walrus." Um,
Cuckoo. Okay.
Yeah. And then he talks about like some other um of their songs and that kind of stuff. That's kind of why I like that one. It kind of like ties in everything a little bit.
Neat.
Um yeah. So from this is kind of interesting. This was a bit from Wikipedia. On the 17th of September, 1969, Tim Harper, the editor of the Drake Times Delphic, student newspaper of Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. So how I said it was like popular in the universities and like colleges in America. This is like
Right.
they really were just talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. It was pretty crazy.
Total rumor
Um,
mill. Yeah.
yeah, they published an article titled "Is Beatle Paul McCartney Dead?" The article addressed a rumor being circulated on that specific campus that cited clues from recent Beatles albums, including a message interpreted as "Turn Me On, Dead Man," heard when the White Album track Revolution 9 is played backwards. Also referenced in that article was the back cover of Sgt. Pepper, where every Beatle except McCartney is photographed facing the viewer, like facing forward, and the front cover of Magical Mystery Tour, which depicts one unidentified band member in a differently colored suit from the other three. According to music journalist Meryl Nodden, Harper's Drake Times Delphic was the first to publish an article on the Paul is dead theory. So that really, like, they were the first one to publish something about it, but a lot of places were talking about it.
Right. And then it gets picked up by the tabloids. And there you go.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
More from Wikipedia. These are a lot of like the examples, what they say is the evidence of it. Um, Another example is the interpretation of the Abbey Road album, which gets talked about a lot. Album cover as depicting a funeral procession. So Lennon leading, dressed in white, is said to symbolize the heavenly figure, and then Starr, dressed in black, symbolizes the Undertaker, where George Harrison, dressed in denim, represents the gravedigger, and McCartney, barefoot, second from last, is out of step with the others and would be symbolizing the corpse. Yeah, so when
Damn.
you look at it, they're all leading with like the same foot except Paul McCartney. I can't remember which foot. But he's like out of step.
Yeah.
That's how, because at first I was like, what the fuck do they mean out of step? And then I realized all of them
Out
are
of
like, say their left foot is forward in the cover. Well, McCartney's right foot is
Think
forward.
it
So he is out of step.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something,
'cause
one
it's
or the other. I can't remember exactly.
but yeah, that's that super famous one where they're all walking across the road. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Funeral procession. Interesting.
The number plate on the white Volkswagen Beetle, as well in that photo of Abbey Road, contains the letters LMW281F. That's mistakenly read as 281F, or no, sorry, 28IF. And it was identified later as further evidence, saying 28IF represents McCartney's age if he had still been alive. Although
Oh my
McCartney
God,
was
what a stretch.
27 when the album was recorded and released. So, I mean, we just we just debunked that statement, but
It's not just a bunch of gibberish like all European license plates.
right? Yeah, randomly generated. Well, they say that the LMW stood for Linda McCartney Weeps or Linda McCartney Widow. Although
Oh my
McCartney and
god.
the then Linda Eastman had not yet met in 1966, the year of Paul's alleged death. So that's fun.
Damn.
But
She
she's a
married to a
widow.
ghost.
Yeah, they hadn't even met yet. She married the lookalike. She never even met real Paul.
Oh, yes. All along.
Um,
Kids
they
and
also,
everything.
yeah. They also say that the left-handed Paul McCartney is holding a cigarette in his right hand, which was also said to
Oh.
support the idea that he was an imposter.
Imposter.
Yeah, you can't smoke with your other hand, apparently.
Yeah. It's too hard.
So rumors briefly declined after a interview was published with Paul McCartney and his family, Linda, and they had, I think, 2, maybe 3 kids by this point. It was published in November of 1969 with Life magazine, and McCartney, like, this helped quell some of the rumors because they hadn't really been in the public eye too much in the months leading up to that, and the rumors were like really picking up in the 1969 year. So McCartney started to do as many like interviews as he could to try and keep himself in the public eye and really try and refute the theory that he was dead.
Oh my god. The fact that he has to do that.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
And then he kind of got tired of it, and I think it dwindled out after a few months, and it was like, this is exhausting.
Right.
It did say, however, that as things tend to do, over 1969, the rumors that Paul McCartney had died helped with album sales, and they saw a significant increase with even their prior albums re-entering Billboard's top LP charts, as they tend to when people think somebody's dead, or even when they die for real. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they needed the boost. They were fine.
I think so as well.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
need to do that. Ugh. Damn.
More from Wikipedia. This was fascinating to me that they would do this like back then, but a television special dedicated to the theory Paul is dead, and it was titled Paul is Dead, was broadcast on WOR in New York on the 30th of November, I believe 1969, titled McCartney, The Complete Story Told for the First and Last Time. It was
Because
set
we're gonna
in
get kicked off the air, because yikes.
It was set in a courtroom and hosted by celebrity
Oh my
lawyer
God.
F. Lee Bailey, who cross-examined Labor, Gibb, and other proponents of the theory. So Labor is actually the one that first released the article from that like Des Moines
Okay.
University one. So he's the one that published that article, and really things kicked off. So he's there along with Gibb, another gentleman, and other people that believe in the theory. And they kind of were like cross-examined, and they heard opposing views from, quote, witnesses such as McCartney's friend, Peter Asher, his brother, Mike McCartney, and Alan Klein. Bailey, the one hosting and the celebrity lawyer, left it to the viewer to determine like the conclusion. It said that before the recording, however, Labor, the guy that wrote the first article, told Bailey, the celebrity lawyer, that his article had been intended as a joke and that he had made up several of the supposed clues. So he like reveals this about to be on fucking live television. To which the lawyer Bailey sighed and replied, "Well, we have an hour of television to do, so you're gonna have to go along with this."
How is that
like,
a real
shit.
lawyer? Like,
Right?
oh my god.
He's a fucking
Ever heard
TV
of
celebrity
slander
lawyer.
or whatever the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So Paul is
TV
dead.
It was so crazy in, I don't know, also
Yeah.
like the early reality TV days and stuff.
God.
I just heard on a podcast the other day that there used to be a show called Best Funeral Ever or something like that.
What?
It was about this one funeral home, and yeah, it'd be all these crazy
Damn.
top funeral. Yeah, and just like, then you get all the Who Wants to Marry we had all the Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire and all that
Yeah.
cringy stuff. Ugh.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us?
Yeah. So the theory that Paul is dead has continued to inspire analysis into the 21st century with,
God.
it's crazy. There's TV shows, books,
Oh my
everything you can
God.
imagine. When I Googled it, comic books from Italy came up that,
Oh no,
claim-
your algorithm's fucked. They're gonna think you
like
believe
it's a
anything
comic
now.
series, right? It was like a comic series about Paul McCartney being dead, and it was like graphic novels, like fucking comics. Like,
That's
what's
so
happening?
gross.
So weird. Yeah, there's
Jesus.
published studies by all these people, among others,
Studies.
and yeah, there's mockumentaries and documentary films about it. Writing in 2016, Beatles biographer Steve Turner said, quote, "The theory still has the power to flare back into life." So every once a decade or so, it really flares up, and the people are like, Paul McCartney's dead.
Oh my lord. The poor man. He's a senior.
Leave him alone. He just became a billionaire. Did you know that? He became the first English billionaire, musician.
Cool.
I'm
Well,
surprised
good
it
for
took
him.
that long. Fucking
Yeah.
how
But-
many of the goddamn Kardashians did it before him? Like, fuck you. You're
Ew.
not Paul McCartney.
Ugh.
Ugh, I hate them.
America. But then the poor guy, when he does, he's gonna have to pass eventually, and then it's gonna be at first
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be like, well, that's came up again. You know what I mean? Well, it does happen to a few celebrities now where they a rumor starts trending on fucking Twitter or whatever
Yeah.
they're calling it nowadays.
People are like, they're trending on Twitter. Did they die?
No, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Um,
I don't want to be
yes.
famous. You can tell your friends to listen to us, but nobody will see our faces. So podcasters never get that famous. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That level of fame.
Yeah, so this Beatles biographer Steve Turner, he also cited a 2009 Wired Italia magazine article that featured an analysis by two forensic research consultants who compared selected photographs. I reinforce selected photographs of McCartney taken before and after his alleged death, and they measured features of the skull. And according to the scientists' findings, the man shown in the post-November 1966 images was not the same as the man in the pictures before. So,
Because
again, they're going
on how your face changes as you get older. Oh my god.
But no, it was just immediately before and after. But again, it's selected pictures.
Yeah.
So, during the 1970s, the theory was studied and analyzed in sociology, psychology, and communications, seeing how it had spread through the world in the 1960s and 70s, which is crazy.
Oh my god.
McCartney himself even parodied the theory by titling his 1993 live album "Paul is Alive."
Aw, you gotta embrace it at some point.
Yeah, but this is 20, almost 30 years after the fact.
Yeah.
And my last note was just that the legend is among 10 of the world's most endearing conspiracy theories, according to Time magazine. They did a study in 2009. So it's one of the longest that's continued to pop up.
Oh, so did they have a list? That sounds like a good.
I guess so. Doesn't that sound fun? I should have tried to look up what the other
Yes.
ones were. Yeah, 10 of the world's most enduring conspiracy theories.
Oh, hell yeah, that'd be a fun list to look at.
Probably that
That's crazy.
aliens are fake, Paul McCartney's dead.
Can't he just upload his DNA to some website so that people can be like, hey, look, it's you. You're really you.
Well, they'd have
Let's
to-
lay that to rest.
They'd have to test his parents, him, his siblings, and then his kids. Because, like, nobody will ever believe it. And then even then, people will not believe
I
it.
know.
Because they'll be like, they swapped out the DNA. They have Paul McCartney's DNA from 1960.
I can trace his
Like-
family history back to his great-great-grandmother, but I'm just going to use it to stalk him. Because that's what people are like.
Yeah.
Top 10 most enduring. Oh, that was crazy.
Enduring conspiracy theories. I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah.
Yes, what's wrong with society? Why do we propagate these things that are like so hurtful to the person that's going, I'm not dead?
And then people are like, I knew you would say that. You're paid to say that. You're like, well, I'm not.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
yeah, that
wild.
one's always made me go, okay, like who first thought of that? 'Cause,
Yeah.
wow, apparently
Yeah,
that's
it's
all it
very
needed was
old.
a match to light that one. Just
Yeah.
burn
Like,
forever.
I thought it was really funny that the guy was even like, yeah, the article was meant to be a joke. And then they're just like, well, son, we're about to go on TV. So, like, fuck you. Pretend you believe in it.
Oh my god, the amount of like, yeah, satirical things that people have apparently thought were real.
Yeah, I think people have to be more careful because.
Yeah. Oh, we could totally do an episode on ones that are like the War of the Worlds broadcast, because there was other times that like stuff went out over the radio that I think some of it gets blown out of proportion. That, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, everyone's committing suicide.
Well,
like,
this,
but like, there's been
yeah.
some crazy stuff that people have believed.
Well, this they said almost like so many of the university and college campus like radio stations, because at the time it was like newspaper and radio, because it's the 60s, like didn't have the internet and that kind of stuff. So that's how a lot of people heard news. So especially when you're on a college campus, if that's what they call them, disc jockeys and everything, or the DJs are talking about, then that's what you start believing in, because that's all you're hearing about.
And we're still talking about it on our broadcast.
Now we're talking about it on the newest trend of podcasts, how you get your news.
Oh my god, I was just reading a book where this book I just read where her sister was a DJ, like a local radio station, and when she got mad at her, the main character, she would like put her on blast. I'm like, that's mean. You can't bring that stuff up.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff private, y'all. Anyway,
yeah.
That was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was interesting to look them both up, and I think my favorite parts were like the evidence, like going through and be like, okay, some of this I could get behind. I don't know about some of the other stuff.
Evidence, yeah.
Yeah, the quote unquote evidence.
Boy. What do you guys think? Who's really
dead? Well, maybe you guys can
that.
comment on what weird conspiracy theory do you guys believe in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Stephen King one's weirder, but
yes, yeah,
I don't know. They just popped off after that. Rumors just been going strong ever since.
Yeah,
everybody. Damn. All right, take a quick break.
Hello, is this thing on? Okay, good. I am sorry to interrupt your listening pleasure, but my name is Tiffany, and I'm here to tell you about my podcast, True Crime Connections. It's an advocacy podcast that talks with real survivors about real shit. This is the place you want to be if you've been in a toxic relationship or anything tragic has happened to you and you're looking to find your strength and healing. No two episodes are alike, but they all give you useful tools that you can take with you. So make sure to find me on your favorite podcast platform, or you can go to truecrimeconnections.com and come join the Hope Building community. See you there.
So, got some other wild ones that we might be able to debunk a few more short ones.
Nice.
Yes, from the internet era, of course, there's so many crazy ones out there. Yeah. Okay, so remember I said that Pat saw my first bullet point and laughed. Went, no way. It's because it was Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I ran across, I think, that one.
Oh, it's out there. It's yeah. If you look up celebrity conspiracies,
I
it's
hadn't
definitely
heard of
gonna
it
come up.
before, but
No,
okay.
probably because it's pretty dumb. Just gonna go on the record and say that.
You heard it here first. It's pretty dumb.
I mean, it's basically based on their similarity of appearance, apparently, which, you know,
There's only so many appearances
There's-
that people can have.
they have big blue eyes. A lot of people confuse Katy Perry with a lot of other actresses, like, what is her name? Liz. I don't know. The other one with large blue eyes that was on True Blood and shit. Whose name is escaping me right now. But, like, she does get
Sookie.
confused.
Is it Sookie Stackhouse? Is that her name?
No, it's the one that dated her brother, Jason Stackhouse. She gets confused with Zoe Deschanel. That's one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Oh fuck, figure it out. Basically, anyone with black, like white skin and black hair, they confuse her with. I'm like, okay.
You just go, Katy Perry?
It's like, all you white people look alike.
You're all Katy Perry.
Yeah, it first apparently appeared as a conspiracy / rumor / whatever in like December of 2014 in a YouTube video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say if it was like established when Katy Perry first got famous and what was it, like 2007, 2008-ish? I would have been like, holy
Right.
shit, like they jumped right on that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that her career in itself helps to debunk it. Doesn't make sense. They weren't born in the same year even, so it's all like
Yeah.
really conjecture. Like, because John Benet was 6 when she died in 1996, and Katy Perry was born in like 84 or something. So it's just like really easily shot down. And I was laughing saying to Pat how I brought it up already in the pod, and he went, well, the reason that was not, and I'm like, oh no, I don't believe it. You have to sit there because I'm not going to be arguing for it.
I'm just presenting what they say.
It's just a collection of bullshit from the internet.
We'll
She apparently,
rename this segment Bullshit from the Internet.
Oh, I know. That's a fun new Patreon segment. That kind of is our new Patreon segment. Anyway. So Katy Perry has a memoir. Yes. Already.
Titled I Am Not John Benet Ramsey.
Yes. Not John Benet. But she did mention John Benet in the memoir, which someone pointed out, of course. But what she said was just that, quote, not that I was one of those stage kids. So it's part of a bigger sentence, obviously. But
oh, okay. Yeah.
not that I was one of those stage kids. There was no John Benet Ramsey waiting to burst out, end quote.
Okay.
That's her clue. No.
Yeah. When was that? Did it say when the memoir was released? Is that why this like came about? Did she mention it or?
No, I don't know. It didn't mention. It's crazy that she even has a memoir already. She's like,
right? I was like,
my
fuck,
age,
you've been around for 15 years. Write a memoir.
Yeah. You're like 40 some. Okay. Yeah, their birthdays are nowhere near each other. Katy Perry was born in October 84 in Santa Barbara, different state. I think what the other one might have been Colorado. Anyway,
I have no idea.
I can't remember. But and like, yeah, she definitely just didn't show up out of the blue one day. So why would the theory, I guess, is that the Illuminati pretended to kill her as a young pageant star and made her into a pop star for some reason.
Huh. That damn Illuminati, always up to shenanigans.
Oh, the most shenanigan. Speaking of the Illuminati and other clandestine orders, there's we've got some other. Oh yeah, this one's a good. In that same vein, did the CIA kill Bob Marley? That one came up, which I hadn't heard.
I
Yeah.
feel like it just made headlines very recently, and that's the only reason I had heard about it. Is the last few weeks it all of a sudden was in the like Google News that I look at every few days. It's like, what the fuck?
It's your algorithm.
Yeah, it's trying to give me all these conspiracies now.
Yeah, this one just came up on I found a big list on a website called wonderwall.com, which is kind of funny. So I like that song.
Yeah.
All right. So this one said, and this is a quote from the website that I just mentioned. Bob Marley died in 1981 at 36 following a battle with melanoma. Some conspiracy theorists have speculated that the CIA or some other shadowy organization may have secretly given him the disease by putting poison in his boots since the cancer started under one of his toenails.
Yeah. There's a snake in my boot. What they say on Toy Story.
Like Toy Story, yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute and then go right ahead with the rest. They've alleged that the CIA was concerned about the influence a Rastafarian musician who was vocal about his political beliefs would build throughout the world. They're worried about his influence, I guess.
I mean, it was Bob Marley. He had a pretty big influence, still does. People fucking love Bob Marley.
Yeah, influence you to chill the fuck out, smoke reefer, and fucking, don't kill somebody. It said there was also an assassination attempt on Bob's life in 1976. Over the years, there have been allegations that the CIA ordered the hit. Is it possible they finished the job? Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, but if you were gonna publicly try and assassinate someone, as I assume they did the first time, by shooting or whatever, then why would you go for cancer under the toenail?
Yeah. I always, in these ones, I always feel really bad for the family, especially when one of these people has died. Yeah, it must be hard for the family. Be like, no, they fucking died from cancer, and you guys are. It would be really annoying, I think.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. That's shitty if it's been trending and stuff, because that's who gets really hurt in these things. Is
Yeah,
they're already grieving and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So weird to me.
It is. That one's a wild
poison in the boot is so random too. What the heck?
Right?
It'd be poison his food or
Yeah, and what kind of poison causes cancer? Anyway, who knows? Yeah. They probably have one. Yeah, okay, now I kind of feel bad because the next one involves some deaths too. But I think we could pretty much maybe
there's a lot of them.
Yes, they all involve who's not really dead or
who is dead,
become a clone,
been replaced.
replaced.
Yeah, everybody who's died isn't dead, and everybody who isn't dead has been replaced.
Exactly. Nobody's real anymore.
Yeah.
Tell me something only the real Kelsey would know. I
have no idea.
Right? We're we just need a code word, something like Dumbledore would use, because his was always lemon sherbet.
Yeah.
Sherbet. Okay. There's the conspiracy that there is a curse on the show Glee, the Glee curse, because of the people that have died. Yeah, which I don't know. I kind of wondered that just when people kept seeming to be on that show and Yeah, more than normal, more than a usual
Yeah.
amount seemed to die, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
they're young, so who knows, right? It could be a lot of different
Yeah, I
factors.
think anybody that's catapulted into fame at a young age and everything,
Yeah,
it can be a lot to process and handle if it happens so suddenly.
yeah, like child stars, they're not.
Yeah.
They're notoriously fucked up usually and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things that comes up. They put sources point out the show. Sources point out the show. Why am I saying it like that? I'm sorry. Okay. The show first aired in 2009 and soon shot the cast to superstardom as it became a hit, just like you were saying.
Yeah. I
And
watched a few episodes.
oh, you
Maybe
did? Oh,
like
okay. I never
2
really
or
did.
3, and then I don't know. I couldn't really get into it.
Yeah, it's
So,
mostly kind of high school, right? Like just high school
yeah.
setting. Glee
Yeah.
Club. They sing a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody was really into it though for some reason.
Right? I know they did like themed episodes and certain stuff, and a lot of celebrities went on and did cameos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind a musical movie every once in a while, so I get it.
Yeah.
So the 2013 death of the beloved actor Corey Monteith, who played Finn
Hmm.
Hudson, brought renewed attention to the show and its stars and generated new interest in what happened behind the scenes. There were reports of ongoing feuds between the stars, a workhorse mentality that had the stars rarely ever taking a break, and sadly, more tragic deaths to come. This is
Yeah.
from
I can imagine if you're trying to do like regular script work and then also all these song and dance numbers, like that's a lot. Like
I know it's
singing
like
and
being on
dancing.
Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah, singing and dancing on a weekly basis on top of the TV show. Like that's more than just shooting a TV show. It's
Hmm.
more involved.
Yeah. This was from a time.com article about the their investigation discovery docu-series, which apparently was a thing that happened or is
Wow.
happening. Yeah, about this. So that's kind of crazy. They said in this article that 3 cast members and 5 crew members have died since the show's start. Which is it still on? I don't know.
No, it ended a few years ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know how old this article was, but yeah, okay. So yeah, first, and I remember hearing about this when it happened when Corey died by accidental heroin overdose in a Vancouver
Yeah.
hotel room. Yeah, it wasn't too far from us, but that was very sad. I remember he was dating Leah Michelle from the cast at the time.
Yeah.
That'd be really horrible. But yeah, it was an accident, so you know, it's yeah. At least nobody was murdered. But then
Yeah.
there was the other guy. Oh, what the fuck was his first name again? Maybe Mark. The last name is Salling. And he was the guy that was arrested for possession of child. I think child exploitation videos is what we're calling it now, because pornography is even a bad. But you know, pedophile stuff. So he was
Yeah.
arrested for like underage shit, and he then took his own life, killed himself in January of 2018, which was 2 months before he was supposed to have his sentencing. So
Mm-hmm.
good
Yeah, I
riddance to.
remember when that happened.
Oh, okay, yeah, like that's fucked up. Like that's all him. So he brought
Yeah.
all that on himself.
Yeah.
But still shitty. Um, and then this one made me, yeah, probably feel the most horrible when Naya Riviera died.
Yeah.
Um, did you hear about that one?
Yeah, wasn't it she was like swimming with her son or something and
Yeah,
her and what she saved her son's life or something, got him back on the boat, and then she couldn't get back in the boat
Yes.
herself, and she drowned.
Yeah. And oh, just the thought, because that her son was relaying it to his father later, how like she got him on and then she said help and went under, and that's all he ever saw. Oh my
Yeah.
god. She was boating on a lake near her home in California, and that was in 2020, the year of all of the bad things. And apparently it's like a bit of a problem with that lake. Although I did hear she also suffered from vertigo, and so that couldn't have maybe helped, because yeah, that could be bad. Her life jacket was on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Uh, Oh, I have a little bit more on hers and then a little bit on the crew, but it's kind of all out of order. Sorry. Yeah, her 4-year-old son Josie said, who she shared with ex-husband Ryan Dorsey, said that before the star disappeared into the water and drowned, they counted 1, 2, 3 and jumped off the pontoon boat together at Lake Piru in Ventura County, California, on July 8th. And then after getting into the water, Josie said his mother told him to get back on the boat, according to the report. And then, yeah, like I said, he's what she saw, and it said she was a strong swimmer, but did experience vertigo, like I mentioned, and wasn't like drunk or anything like that. Didn't really have anything. Like
Yeah.
there was
I
like a
remember
few
them.
things in her system.
It
Like
was like weird.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
like,
that sounds really, really sad. Like that's just completely
yeah.
accidental.
She's so
Like,
young and so healthy and all that. So you're just like, was no one around, or like, how bad are these waters? Like,
yeah.
really, really. I don't know, just like, yeah, very unlucky set of circumstance that nobody was really
Yeah,
close
I
enough
remember when it
help.
got to her, it was like, okay, this is I even thought like what the fuck is up with this TV show? Like these people, why is all
Right.
these things happening?
Yeah. And they're
Like,
so young and shit.
yeah.
um oh, it did say one thing, said that the place, that Lake Piero, has been the site of several drownings over the years. Has been the site of several drownings over the years, and the actress's disappearance prompted a petition calling for signs warning swimmers of its dangerous conditions. So, well,
Weird.
it's something, but I feel like there could be more done there. I don't know. Like, have some,
Yeah, that's not usual for like lakes.
like, if they need a lifeguard there, then they need a lifeguard,
Yeah.
or else people shouldn't be allowed to swim there, maybe, or boat,
Or
or whatever.
life jackets only.
Yeah.
Or you get fined, like something.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's weird.
Something.
It's like there's like something like in the lake or like
Mm.
something that's affecting people.
Yeah, like some sort of undercurrents or something. Yeah, I can't remember if
Yeah.
I heard anything else about it specifically, but
Hmm.
and then as to the other crew members, it said outside of the tragic deaths of 3 major cast members, there were deaths among the crew as well. 2 members died of a heart attack: Jim Fuller, an assistant director, and a man named Paul, who was in charge of props. Um, so natural, but okay, kind of weird, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, in addition to Salling, there were 2 more deaths by suicide: Nancy Motes, a production assistant, and an unnamed rigger. The main stand-in for Matthew Morrison, Mark Watson, died in a car crash. An actual car crash, probably, this time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible. But like, yeah, just maybe.
Yeah, that is weird.
Really, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of productions where they're like all this, like, like, what is it? The one where the child star died? Is that like that Poltergeist? I think the young actress died, and then they say the whole movie's
Yeah.
cursed, and then you could probably point to a lot that happens on each set. There's a lot of people that work on a movie, but a few suicides is a little odd to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, obviously, I think speculating too much is a little bit like, kind of disrespectful. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I probably watched the documentary. I'm not saying I
Right?
wouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think we're
Yeah.
fascinated by this bullshit. I don't know.
There's bullshit on the internet.
I know. Because that's what I'm saying, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought this would be a fun topic, but it also kind of feels like you're walking around a bunch of landmines. Because you're
Yeah.
like, well, okay, so especially this one was also on the main list that I looked up where there was a lot that I was like, yikes. And so I subtitled this one even more offensive, semicolon, is Stevie Wonder faking it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think I saw that one too.
Just like, it's just like that cringe emoji with the teeth.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it said that this one is just as it sounds. The singer is faking being blind. Wow. And the proof, quote unquote, some people believe that Stevie Wonder, who went blind when he was a child, can actually see, is over the years, the iconic musician has been caught on camera accomplishing several seemingly impossible tasks for a person with impaired vision. From catching a falling microphone stand and snapping a photo of Michael Jackson to going in for hugs and attending basketball games. Which, like, that's just rude. There's
But
disabled
most
people
of
can do shit too.
a lot of people that are declared legally blind still have part of their vision. Like,
That's true.
there, it doesn't mean 100% total darkness. It could mean
Yeah,
that they can maybe see sources of light or can make out the difference between like a dark shape of like somebody coming at them and like the background around them, but they can't
yeah.
like make out. So yeah, maybe they could have enough spatial awareness that they could like give somebody a hug, but
Oh yeah, and so much
they
like
can't
different rely on
drive a
the
car.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's different levels of being visually impaired for sure. And I think
Yeah.
also, yeah, they can obviously learn to rely so much on their senses. Oh my god, your fucking thing
What?
froze in such a funny position for a minute.
Oh, did
It
it?
was yes, it almost looked like you were doing like a pretending to be
Oh,
Gordo or something, like you were looking down almost cross-eyed. I was like, oh, but it was just frozen.
oh,
Sorry.
jeez, weird.
Um, yeah, no, that's yeah, it's so stupid because like the oh, you should have seen the girl Christine was one of the contestants on MasterChef, and she was like, yeah, fully legally blind and shit, walked with a cane, whatever, and they're chopping and frying the shit up like way better than I can ever do. And she like
Right?
won, I think. Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy. So to say
Yeah.
that he's faking it is pretty mean, and I hope that one doesn't get
Yeah.
um yeah. I hope that rumor dies. We're quashing it.
Right?
We're killing the
Yeah.
rumor.
I remember I went to starting in about middle school, there was a girl and she like every few years she had her glasses had to be stronger and stronger and stronger, and they told
Mm.
her she basically had to get like LASIK eye surgery by the time she hit 20, or she would be declared legally blind because
Oh
her vision would be so
wow.
poor. And it's like
Oh
she could
no.
still see. Like when as a person wearing
Yeah.
glasses, when you take your glasses off, you're not blind. Like you can still make out colors and shapes,
Yeah.
and
Blurry
unless
things. Yeah.
yeah, it's blurry and stuff becomes distorted. So I'm sure if your vision's like more
Yeah.
and more impaired, it's just more and more of that, but you can still see
Yeah.
to a certain extent sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, my prescription used to change quite a bit where like my
yeah,
left eye is the weaker one, and it'd be like, oh, that one got worse. You gotta get it like it's gonna be a little bit more Coke bottle on that side, that a little
yeah,
thicker lens than my other one. And I guess I'm lucky it didn't keep deteriorating that badly as that girl
yeah,
was apparently doing. That sucks.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Eye health. It's a thing, guys. We're advocating for it. Get your shit checked out.
out of like all the health things, the eyes
Oh,
worry me the most.
Oh, me too. Yeah, that's why I go to the specialist lady, because I was like, am I supposed to be seeing like this many, like those dots you get in your vision, that floaties or whatever? And
Yeah.
they can check, because if you are nearsighted like me, then yeah, there's a chance. Like they want to check and make sure it's not your fucking retinas or something. And so they
Yeah.
did. Yay! And they're like, she's just like, you should use eye drops more. And I'm like, okay, my
Yeah.
eyes are dry. I will. Like,
Yeah.
um, I need to be able to see you guys. I need to be able to read. Oh my god. um, but yeah, then there's the clones. The clones. Attack of the Clones. You could do a whole fucking podcast episode on all the
Yeah.
celebrities that apparently have been cloned.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of them get talked about so much that I'm just like, I'm not going to go into it. I feel like these people get as sick of it as Paul must. Like poor Avril.
Yeah.
Like she gets. Everyone says she's, her body double, Melissa, and just like there's whole like backstories. You're like, what? This is crazy. These people look the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've said Eminem, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift. Eminem, so like Paul, people say that he died in a car crash, actually.
Okay. I didn't know about
Yes.
Eminem getting replaced. Was it Slim Shady? Did Slim Shady replace
Real
him?
Slim Shady had to stand up. There is a picture, they could do a side by side of him looking from his younger
Yeah.
days and now, and you're like, yeah, his hair is darker. I don't know.
He didn't bleach his hair.
Excuse me. Yeah. Right.
What
Like,
the heck?
and he just turned 51. So either you believe he turned 51 in October of 2023, which is also pretty crazy.
Or he's a 75-year-old woman. No.
Yeah. No, or he's been dead for 17 years and they've been
17 years? His wife just got married. Or his wife. Oh my god, no.
Oh, one of his kids.
His daughter just got married today or yesterday. As we're
Oh, is it
recording
the one
this.
that's named Elena Marie? Or the Haley one? I think he has a
I
few
think
daughters.
Haley.
Okay. One of them has a very similar name to me. That's cool. I didn't know that. But
Yeah, I just saw it on the Google News.
You're all
my
over Google.
algorithm's fucked.
That's funny. I've been so offline this weekend. It's been great.
Yeah, it's nice sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's a body double, or some things say an android clone.
Cool.
That his face, his jaw has changed. His darker hair and his eyes look darker, they say in that picture of the side by side. Like now. And somebody said they look dead now. So
They
he's
look
always
dead.
dead shark eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one article, I should have put a link to it, because there's like a video by this guy named Tom McDonald, and it's called Cloned Rappers. And in it there's like a bunch of duplicates of himself bouncing around. He's this black rapper, I don't know. And he says that it's the Illuminati, and yeah, everybody says that all the real ones are in prison.
Really?
For some reason. Because yeah, we gotta promote
Rappers.
like, yeah, okay, because their rap lyrics are so nice now. Sure. I should have tried to look this up. There's apparently a glitch video showing Eminem glitching live on ESPN in 2013.
What?
I don't know. It's probably like one of those where like I just told you froze a minute ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what I mean?
I
Like, shit
glitched.
happens.
Oh shit, I'm a cyborg? Damn it, I didn't know.
Oh my god. Yeah, I wonder if there's a video of it. Do you think? I don't know.
No.
Videos are hard.
We'll put it on the website if we can find it and it's worth it. I'll put it on the
Yeah.
website and you
Yeah,
guys
I
can
could
watch
probably
it.
put it on socials too, once I ever get around to that. Yeah, that's their smoking gun. Yeah, and there's been other rappers. They've apparently said have been cloned, but I've never heard of them before. Their names are Gucci and Kodak.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Oh,
But I don't know any of
I
their
will
music. I just
touch.
know the names.
The names are interesting. I will say that.
Yeah.
Brand names, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other like famous rapper one that's been around for a long time too is the belief that Tupac's alive and
Yeah.
faked his own death. And I think that I read it had a little bit to do with the like his bodyguard, I guess, at one time said that he helped him do it. And this other guy, I guess, is also claiming that he's alive and he's living in New Mexico
Yeah.
somewhere. And this guy's going to make it into a major motion picture called Tupac, The Great Escape from UMC. Oh, Rick Boss. That's the guy's name. Rick Boss.
Sounds fun.
He's got the lowdown, apparently. Yeah, and then I have one that's probably a little bit more rooted in fact that I did a little deeper dive on.
Really?
Yeah, it comes
Okay.
up in the lists, like the top conspiracy theories of celebrity lists, but there was also an expose done by Vanity Fair that talked about it.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
I think, and yes, I went back and found the article, and I think I had read it before. I was like, this sounds familiar. It's about, I called this segment, Find Tom a Wife.
What?
I'm cracking myself up. I'm sorry. It's about Tom Cruise and Scientology.
Okay, yeah.
Playing matchmaker, I guess you could say, but that's putting it a little mildly. To find him a girlfriend. I called it that because on the Neatcast they have a segment now where it's called Find Mike a Wife, and they go through his like Tinder like matches.
Oh shit.
They're so funny. Go listen to the Neatcast. Okay. That was my freebie. All right. So the source was the Vanity Fair article by Maureen Orth. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
He's there. It's everyone's time for everyone's favorite cult calling themselves a religion.
Yeah.
Sound effects. Yay, come on down. Don't sue us.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about, a lot of people don't like talking about them. We're just going to say shitology and never use the right word again. So yeah, how can such a hunk find it so hard to get a woman? I mean,
Because he'd be jumping on couches on Oprah and shit.
because he'd be culting it up. Yeah, must be my guess. So yeah, they published this one in September 2012, and it was basically all about an alleging that Iranian British actress Nazanin Boniadi, nailed it, was handpicked to date Tom Cruise as part of her role in the shitology organization, as it were. So this was in like November 2004 to January 2005. So after his split from suppressive people, as they like to call them, Nicole Kidman and Penelope Cruz, because those were his like, long-time relationships. But it's pre Katie Holmes.
Okay. I was gonna say, I don't know much about like Tom Cruise's life, other than he's crazy, but I like Mission Impossible and Top Gun.
Yeah, I don't mind his movies. I can't really stand the man, so.
Yeah.
But I do find this kind of interesting because, well, shitology is interesting. But
yeah, it's also scary. They're like, aren't they the most wealthy, like religious order in the world or something?
They probably say that. I don't know.
I thought I had heard that in multiple things, being like they're the most.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Well, they do get all his
they
money,
have
so
they have more money than like a bunch of countries and governments and all this stuff. Like it's fucking
oh,
scary.
good
Yeah.
lord. I mean, it is. Yeah, you don't want them on your ass. Uh, if we ever do any deep dives, we'll do them on Patreon behind a paywall, where I've seen other people
Yeah.
do it to give themselves some sense of
Yeah.
security. But like, good for people that do talk about it, like Leah Ramini, who comes up
Yeah.
here. So allegedly, Tom was hanging out with the head of the organization, that David Miscavige guy. And he says to him, he says, "Can you believe even my sister can't get me a girlfriend?" And him and his sister were there. His sister Leanne DeVette. They were hanging out with Miscavige at the opening of the Madrid Shitology Center in September 2004. Sorry. And this was not good for not good news for David, because he needs to keep his star shitologist happy.
Yeah.
Keep him happy and having sex and all that stuff. Because especially if they notice how he is when he's with the other girls that they didn't approve of, and he would, drift off, and they didn't like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so they want to choose one for him, allegedly. So the Mike Rinder, who might sound familiar because he was on the show with Leah Ramini, the Scientology and the Aftermath, such a good show. Like, talk to real people that were in it, and
Yeah. Those are like the
hard
only people I
to get
fucking
out.
trust covering anything is
Yeah.
people that actually left a
Yeah.
place.
That's
Yeah.
true. Listening to that stuff can be really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sinisterhood's done a few of them where they did one, like a few parter on I want to say Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, one of the ones that are almost a cult, right? Like one of the bad ones. It
Yeah.
was like they didn't cover Scientology, but it might have been Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I always get them mixed up because I'm like, are those Mormons? But like, some of them are just not good. Anyway, yeah, and Mike Rinder confirmed that he had heard the same thing from Tom earlier that day. So they were like, uh-oh.
Okay, yeah.
Mike was the founding director of Shitology International, but yeah, now he's on the show, fights against it with Leah and others that have escaped the cult's clutches. But he had said that David could basically magic anything Tom wanted, except a wife. Because we're too smart for that.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
So, this was funny. David Miscavige calls Mike Rinder and this other guy named Marty Rathburn, who was former Inspector General or whatever of this bullshit. He called them a dynamic duo of lunatic venom and untrustworthy bile.
Wow, what are we, like the 7 vials or whatever they...
Oh no, the humors. It
Yeah.
sounds like whoever wrote that title for that. What was that Zac Efron movie, that true crime one about Bundy? Wasn't it like horribly awful, something vile?
Yeah, that was what the judge said to him. It was like the
yes.
closing remark about what kind of person he was.
Right. It was a very long title.
Yeah.
So yeah, David Miscavige so he's trying to find him a wife, but he also was responsible for getting rid of anybody who were seen as obstacles in Tom's life, namely those ex-girlfriends who were a little less than brainwashed, like Kidman and Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
But of course, Miscavige didn't think they were committed enough to the cause, so like they had to go, and they really thought like Nicole Kidman, she was like really bad. They were like, oh, she's a suppressive person. Her dad's a psychologist.
She has half a brain. God damn it.
Yeah, they like don't believe in like psychiatry, basically.
Yeah. They believe
They're
there's
like,
magic
"No."
underwear that will keep aliens from your brains or something, isn't that? Like, yeah, there's something about magic underwear that they sell you that's supposed to keep you
Oh,
pure and like protect you. That's what I keep hearing about. It's so weird.
oh
I don't.
no.
Yeah.
And he's probably, yeah, you probably need to be at the right OT level or before you learn that bullshit.
Yeah, I remember because my parents used to watch the um Leah Remedy, like, or Remy,
Yeah.
like her escaping. I caught like a little bit, and I remember that for some reason that always stuck with me, something about weird
Oh.
underwear they had to buy.
Oh,
Like,
damn. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
I did watch it, but I don't specifically remember that. Oh man. Um yeah, so that was mark number 1 for her. So he divorced Nicole Kidman, and it said he sued for divorce, which I don't know. Is that what they do?
Weird.
And yeah, and he kept the kids. Bella was 8 and Connor was 6 at the time, and like he just kept them in the cult.
Yeah.
He took them to a course to help identify suppressive persons, so they were like telling them that their moms, not to be
Aw.
trusted and all this crap.
I hate
It's so
that kind of stuff. Like, don't involve your fucking kids.
no,
They didn't ask for that shit.
not at all. Like they have to grow up and be like, well, holy shit, is that not what most people had for childhood?
Yeah.
Ugh. And Penelope Cruz was a Buddhist, and she was unwilling to forsake her beliefs for, boyfriend Cruz. I always thought it was funny that they
Good
both
for
had the
her.
last name Cruz. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hyphen to cruise.
Cruz, cruise control. Oh my god. So they just call their kid like Vroom or something. Okay. So David called her a no good dilettante, which, like, wow, fucking pretentious much. Which I guess
Yeah. Like, what are
I
we in
never
the
really knew the
1800s?
definition. Yeah. I guess it's a person who cultivates an area of interest, such as the arts, without real commitment or knowledge. So,
Well,
like,
fuck. Can't have
she's,
that.
she's just a pretend Buddhist. Okay. Okay. So they needed a true believer, a real Scientologist. Um, so his wife, Shelley Miscavige, which we haven't heard from in a while, but that's a whole nother fucking issue that we're not going to get into here because we don't have the time. But I hope she's okay. She was supposed to play matchmaker for Tom. So they're calling in these actresses to the organization saying, you have to come in for an audition for a training video. It'll be fun. And they'd like audition and stuff, and then they're like ask some questions afterward. Like, what do you think of Tom Cruise?
Sorry, are they like people that are already Scientologists, or this is just like open
Yes.
casting call? Okay. I was like, are they trying
Yeah.
to convert people to fucking Scientology?
They want one on the inside. They don't have time to convert.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
at least there's that. At least this person's already part of this junk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then I have a quote from the article. It said, "It's not like you only have to please your husband. You have to toe the line for all Scientology," explains Mark Headley, a Scientologist from age 7. Damn it.
I remember.
A Scientologist. Who tells me he watched a number of the dozens of 3 to 4 minute audition videotapes when he was executive producer of Golden Era Productions, Scientology's in-house studio. Quote, "You can't do anything to displease Scientology because Tom Cruise will freak out."
Shit.
And then it said the timing was especially delicate, for Cruise was burrowing deeper and deeper into the church, and Miscavige was actively pushing him. According to Headley's wife, Claire, who grew up as a Scientology cadet and worked directly under the Miscaviges in the Religious Technology Center, RTC, Scientology's supreme headquarters, located outside the California desert of Hemet, 80 miles southeast of Los Angeles, they couldn't find a woman to have a relationship with at a time at a time when Cruz was talking about donating his excess millions to fund Scientology buildings. Barf. So gross. Empty buildings. That's what I hear anyway.
Damn.
Yeah. He's like, Cruise is so important to the organization that Miscavige would have made him his number 2 if he weren't so important as Tom Cruise, the actor. He would be
Yeah.
the Inspector General, which is a thing that they have.
Fuck. What are you, a government? Like, you're
Right? He
so
wants to have-
crazy.
I know. Everything's Sea Org. You're like, yeah, you're not the fucking Navy. Like, calm down. All right. So yeah, they've both been in it for a long time. Tom joined at
Yeah.
age 24 in 1986. Did you know that?
No. Shit. I was sitting here thinking, God, he's been in this for 20 years. I was like, no, he's been in this for 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Good God. Oh God, yes. Yeah, I'm old. Okay, sorry. I think the other day, so I said, "Oh, she's closer to my age," and so we were talking about somebody who was probably about your age. She goes, "Well," Kelly goes, "How old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 36." She goes, "Yeah, you haven't seen your late 20s in a while. That ship has sailed." I said, "Closer to." I said, "Not the same age." I was talking about someone I thought was in like their early 20s or something. Anyway, okay, so yeah, he joined at age 24, and he credits its study methods with curing his dyslexia. So, I don't know. And now in his career, he's made over 30 films, had like a 30-year-long career that's brought in about $7 billion.
I know.
And he's so fucking rich. He made 75 million in 1 year as the highest paid actor, according to Forbes. I don't know what year. And Miscavige started out as a cameraman to L. Ron Hubbard in 1977 at age 17. So he was even younger.
Damn.
Yeah. And then by 1982, so like, what, 5 years later, he was top aide to L. Ron. And then 1 year after L. Ron passed in 1 year after he passed in 1987, he was top dog. So it only took him 10 years to take over
Jeez.
all of Schneidology. So they say they have up to 8 million members, but other sources and people figure estimates could be as low as 40,000. So it's really hard to know.
I fucking hope it's 40,000.
Right?
8 million is horrifying.
And if that's true, and then they're all getting money from the 8 million members, then yeah, they probably have a lot of money. But I know they do like to like pretend they have a lot more members than they do by building these big churches all over like LA and shit. And then like nobody's ever in them.
I can fucking hope so. Then that just means they're fucking wasting their money, and that's good.
Mm-hmm. That's so crazy though. They apparently obtained their tax-exempt status in October of 1993. So that's how long they've been a religion. Quote,
I'm going to start a religion.
It's so easy to yeah. I've heard podcasters joke about how easy it would be to start a cult. Just skip the religion part. Just go straight for it. You know that's where it's going.
Yeah. Be like, we don't believe in work. We only believe in triangles. You know?
And making Bigfoot on the protected species list.
Yeah.
That's our running platform.
Days of the week don't exist.
Yeah. Screw the 5-day work week. I'll get on that platform. So they made this Freedom Medal of Valor just so they could award it to Tom.
Fuck, they have a Medal of Valor? Are you the military?
Dun, 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 dun. I feel like I've seen the video. I don't know.
You've like saved your fellow man from like death in an act of valor. No.
They might as well like treat him like he's the deity. Yeah.
Yeah. All hail Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so they need him close and contented. They also mentioned how he divorced his first wife, Mimi Rogers, over disagreements about the organization. Nicole Kidman was in it, and she got up to the whatever OT level, which is their levels of learning, but what Scientology is all about. So that was a one level below the one where you get to read the secret rantings of L. Ron Hubbard about, yeah, the spaceship bullshit and Xenu and
The
the
secret
Prize of
rant.
Souls. The secret underwear. Oh my god. Take a drink every time I say bullshit this episode. Holy. I'm on one. And David Miscavige just loved dishing on Tom's personal problems, that he got from all their confidential auditing sessions and stuff that were secretly taped.
Yeah, you think that wouldn't. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Tom Cruise. I did not realize he went into it when he was 24. Like, your
That's pretty
brain's not
young.
fully developed, and dudes be
Yeah.
stupid. I do
I
kind of feel bad
know.
that way, that it wasn't something he joined, like, kind of knowing what was going on. It seems like it was probably a very
No.
slow progression.
Yeah, and it's not like only stupid people ever get taken in by cults. No, that's stupid to say. Like, very intelligent people just find a
Yeah.
sense of belonging in different things, and then they can
And you can get
list the red
manipulated.
flags and
Like,
yeah,
people that are really good at manipulating people and
exactly
figuring out what you need to hear to,
keep you in. Oh, we're gonna get to it when we get into our documentaries on our Patreon.
I
I'm
know.
sure.
Oh my god. Ah!
That'll be fun. So check that out. We'll be covering a few different crazy ones. Okay. Yeah, so he would be in the officer's lounge, with his wife, whipping out the scotch, 2 or 3 in the morning, and they're reading all the dishing on their love lives and everything. So it said, I know he did it with the reports of Lisa Marie Presley back in 95 when she was married to Michael Jackson, and I know he did it a number of times with Kirstie Alley. I saw and heard him, Claire Headley tells me. He loved to dish about celebrities, says Tom DeVocht. I don't know how to say that. But he said he's probably got a lot of embarrassing material, adding that Miscavige's comments were usually about Cruise's sex life. He would roll his
I've heard
eyes.
that one thing they do is they get something that's blackmail worthy, and then they keep that, and they're like, hey, now you're kind of stuck.
Yeah. It's a way of keeping you in, for sure. Control. But this is just mean. He's just I don't know, Real Housewiving it and being
yeah.
Oh my god. It says he would roll his eyes and say, geez, can you believe it? And just all the while pretending to be his best friend.
Jeez.
So then they found their star auditioner for this lifetime role, Nazanin B, we'll call her. She was petite, sexy, dark-haired, just his type, and best of all, already in the Scientology. So she was 25 years old at the time, so she was younger than him. I think what did I say? This was 2004? I don't know. He's 40.
Damn.
Something. I think, yeah. So she's just his size. She's 5'3".
Burn.
She's an Iranian-born activist and violinist, but she had a boyfriend. This was a problem.
Assassinate him.
Right? So they knew at the time that she had aspirations of getting into activism, so they decided they'd audition her for a special mission. They're not going to tell her it's for a training video, because that probably wouldn't work. She was
your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Yeah. Oh no. She was told she'd be making connections and meeting dignitaries around the world, really hobnobbing and whatnot. They put her through a rigorous month-long auditing process, asking her about everything and anything and intimate details like her sex life, etc., because they didn't want anyone that had ever had a threesome.
What?
That's what it said. So one person was knocked
You
off the
wouldn't think
list.
that's weird, like that you're trying to get into activism. They're like, yeah, we're going to send you to talk with dignitaries and government officials around the world. By the way, tell us about your sex life.
I mean, I guess, but if they're already asking you these things on a daily basis, saying it's making
I
you a better person.
guess. Fuck,
I
that's
don't know.
weird.
It is so weird. They once asked my mom if she did cocaine on a job application. To work
How
at
many
like
lines would you say you do a
a
week?
home improvement store. It's like, what?
Do you do the cocaine?
Do you do cocaine and come to work? She's like, no.
What should I be
Um,
answering? Yes?
It's not like it was the 80s. I don't understand.
Yeah. It's not the-
So Nazanin, I haven't decided how I'm saying it yet. I'm so sorry. She's gorgeous. Oh, I should have put pictures of her up.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. I feel like I've seen
Yeah.
her and him together.
Well, like picture, yeah, it's just like a Penelope Cruz type. She's very much his type, yeah. She was at the level of OT level 5, so that was beyond the wall of fire. So I guess she knew all the dirty little secrets. So they're like, great, she's perfect. Now time for a photo shoot. So ridiculous. And then they got the photos back, and they were kind of like, oh, like, you know, we noticed you have like these kind of braces that aren't really like that noticeable, but like, can you lose those and like the red highlights in your hair, please? Just like, okay. And they're basically like, time to lose the boyfriend too. They asked her, what would it take to like, you know, break you guys up? They're just like,
That's so weird.
all this stuff. And then they showed her some of his secret like sessions that are of his audits. Yeah. And she apparently
Yep.
broke things off, was devastated by
That would do it. I mean, they're probably also manipulating people into saying random shit. And then they can edit whatever they want. Like,
right, and just the
fuck.
stuff that he's believing is confidential, and you know,
Yeah.
probably confiding
What you
about his
think is
girlfriend.
like a sort of therapy session where,
Yeah,
yeah.
or a confessional, like with a priest. You're like, yeah, this shouldn't go anywhere else. They bought her a whole new wardrobe, spent all this money on her. They also had her write a 20-page essay on what she wants in a partner.
What? That's annoying.
I have to imagine she was a little confused at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like has to sign this contract, but she's not really given time to properly read it or gets to keep a copy.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Like, get on a plane, time to go to New York, get a good night's sleep. Okay.
You're getting married in the morning.
Fucking Love is Blind. Yeah. Then, okay, quote, the next day their first stop was in the theater district at Scientology's New York Center. This Will here guy took her to the deserted second floor, and while she was facing away from the entrance, she heard a voice say, holy shit, Greg Will here. What are you doing here? I don't know if that's how you say his name, but it sounds funnier if it is. It was Tom Cruise. According to a knowledgeable source, Boniati was incredulous that Scientology would set her up. She was shocked and she felt manipulated, but she was also flattered that Tom Cruise would have wanted to know so much about her and then shown up to meet her. Given her Iranian background, she sensed that this was possibly going to be an arranged marriage, particularly when Will here allegedly told her, this is Mr. Cruise, we can't let him down.
Oh, that's really sad.
I mean,
And she was like afraid of it being an arranged marriage.
Right?
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't told her much. Bizarre. Then it said they went out kind of on this group outing sort of date. Tom was there, but other people were there, and they toured around the Empire State Building. And then they just happened to go for sushi and skating, which was just what she had said her idea of a perfect date would be when she had been asked.
Sushi and skating. Okay.
Sushi and ice skating. I don't know. I'm not a good skater. Couldn't be me.
Neither am I.
Then she's made to sign another agreement, some sort of like non-disclosure sort of thing, and just like try and be a perfect model of what a wife should be. Oh, and then they told her like he would also prefer it if you would file down your incisors.
You got fangs, girl. Get rid of them.
Can you imagine? I would never ask you to do that. Your teeth are beautiful. That's so
I
fucked up.
know. I got fangs.
So fucked up. Cute little bangs. Fangies. So not shockingly, her mother was not happy about all this happening.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
She didn't like it. She didn't like the age difference. She never even qualified to meet the man. They wouldn't allow that.
Not surprised because she's gonna be a suppressor.
Yeah, maybe. She's maybe not in the organization. But then surprisingly, things go pretty well for them after that. They kind of get to know each other, except it's all in secret. She's not really. I think she wasn't allowed to tell her parents where she was, like, who she was with for a long time, also.
That's scary.
Right? It's just that she's on a special mission for them. They go on a trip to Telluride in late November. I forgot to confirm where that is. We'll never know. Maybe it's in Iran, where she's from. She was so stressed. She was audited all the time at this point. She accidentally fell off a snowmobile one day while she was experiencing like altitude sickness and also period pain on top of everything else, because that just sucks, right?
Yeah.
But they like, don't believe in medications and stuff. So she was like, can I just at least go back to bed and rest a little bit? And they're like, fine. But then after a while, she's supposed to come back out and entertain the Miscaviges. So she does that, and they're talking, and she's having a hard time understanding David, who speaks pretty fast, and she had to ask himself to repeat himself several times, saying, excuse me, which was an insult to him, as they apparently pride themselves so much on effective communication that this was unheard of.
Well, as you see in the experience of the world, not everybody's first language is English, sir. So like fuck
No.
you.
Nope. God forbid. So yeah, that was not great and kind of the beginning of the end. She flew back to America very soon after that, where they were getting her to move her stuff into Tom Cruise's place. But they're very much controlling the relationship, and like if they have a fight, they're like, well, you should just sleep on the couch before he comes back. And she's like, fuck off. This isn't your relationship. Like, but then by the end of January, she was just told to move out and GTFO to the Celebrity Center, which is also a place they have. Gross. And she's told he wants someone with their own power, like Nicole did. Like, vomit. I'm like, but then she might not be brainwashed.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He wouldn't even break up with her himself to her face. She just left, and as she was passing the workout area, he was in the gym, but she was told that he wouldn't be talking to her. He would not be disturbed.
Oh, wow.
The very closest thing she got to closure was that Greg will hear guy saying, oh, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Oh my god.
And apparently all this time in the background, they had never stopped the auditions process, even though they just ruined this whole lady's life.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Right?
They're like, we gotta have a backup number 2, and then a 3, and then a 4, and then a 5.
Oh. Because this isn't going to pan out. Oh, God, how did he get Katie Holmes? Okay, anyway, that's another rabbit hole. So just to end off what happened to her, she was packed off to Scientology's Mecca, the flag building in Clearwater, Florida, where it said, thanks to the generosity of Cruz, she could get counseling and atone for her errors.
Sorry.
So bad. I feel so horrible for her. It's so fucked up.
Did she leave the church? Tell me she left the church. No.
It not by the end of the article. Maybe now?
Oh, I hope she did.
She might have been in it for her whole life. I don't know. She was in it, man. She was way in
Yeah.
it. Like,
Damn.
even now, afterwards, she was not allowed to mention the relationship to anyone. She was just at that place crying all the time. And also, as added insult to injury, the video of him accepting his Freedom Medal of Valor, the ceremony was played near her in a constant loop at the place.
Fuck off.
My God, it's like torture. The only other time she saw him after that, one night he came there with his children to the flag for auditing. She did not see him at first in the dark, but he invited her to sit down on a bench in a public area. It said Tommy Davis was standing nearby. I don't know who he is. According to the source, Cruz offered her a piece of gum and said, "How are you?"
I have some. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
What is wrong with him? Come on.
So awkward. You want to stick a gum?
It's so vomitous, yeah.
Sorry about the relationship, kid. Pat, want to stick a gum?
Right? Sorry, I'm such a coward. I couldn't even break up with you. It said that Bonnie Addy had been taught in her counseling that if someone is constantly upset after breaking up, as she was, it is because she did something wrong.
Oh, no.
It's so heartbreaking. She was aware that anything she said would come out the next day in auditing, so she replied only, "Well, you see, it is what it is." And this breaks my heart when the children came over and asked her when she was coming back to the house. Like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, that's hard. They liked her then.
Mm-hmm.
And if she spent enough time with him that, like, his kids knew her. Like...
Ooh, it's so maddening. I don't even know. I can't even. Yep, so anybody she talks about it with, she gets fucked over. She broke down and told one inquiring friend why she was weeping all the time. And according to the knowledgeable source, the friend promptly wrote up a 10-page knowledge report on her. And then for 2 months, she was made to scrub toilets with a toothbrush on her hands and knees. Oh, clean bathtub tiles with acid and dig dishes in the middle of the night. They deny this, of course.
Fuck.
Oh my God. They send her to hawk L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics book on street corners. Like, they just basically were like treated her like trash after that. A job she continued to do when she was finally allowed to return to LA. I don't have much more. Tom never broke up with her. Mark Headley tells me he never spoke to her. Okay. The whole time Cruz and Bonnie Addy were together, according to Headley, the film people never stopped cranking out new audition tapes. Okay, boom, next one. Okay, boom, next one, he says. She gets kicked to the curb, and a few months later, he's madly in love with Katie and jumping on couches. But she wasn't a Scientologist, I didn't think. Katie Holmes? Or maybe that's why they all eventually broke up. Can't
I don't really
brainwash them all.
Fuck. I would just be like, well, if he never broke up with me, we never really broke up, and therefore we are common law partners, and I want all of it, half of his fucking shit.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo!
I know. Can you imagine, though? Oh, she had to keep it so secret. It's just like, fuck, they really fucked her over.
I feel like there's probably a lot more of that they talk about that goes on in Hollywood than you realize. Like, there's all these conspiracies about people's, like, relationships being fake and stuff, but sometimes when you're just like, wow, like, that was, like, to the minute of when you guys announced you were together, you're just like, boom, anniversary, we're broken up. It's like, oh, there's your 1-year contract. Like,
right? Yeah, you gotta wonder how much that actually goes on. Yeah. Hopefully not so much nowadays, where people, like, hopefully don't have to be like, oh, I have to hide that I'm gay because, you know, that's not cool or whatever. Yeah.
That's wild. Jeez.
I had to end it on a bummer.
Wah, wah, wah.
Why am I like this? Oh, just fascinates me, though. I don't know. Crazy. Crazy
Yeah.
what people will do. I don't know. I'll have to look up now. We'll have to do a follow-up. Is she still in? Did she ever?
Let's try and look it up. Here, let me try and Google it.
Okay.
We'll have to-
Nazanin.
You spell it? N-A-Z...
Nazanin.
Oh, okay. British actress.
Yeah, British actress and activist. Like, it seems like she's doing good when you look, but still in. Oh, I cannot spell. Oh,
She's
left the
great.
Church of Scientology soon afterwards, and in October 2014 called herself a non-practicing Muslim.
Okay.
That came up from her Wikipedia.
All I'm getting is her and Tom Cruise together now. That's all I have. No, that's good. It says she left acting though to focus on her her charity.
Good for her.
Where did I just
She's
see
doing
that?
better.
Thought I literally just saw this.
Oh, she was in Homeland. And maybe Lord of the Rings? Cool. You saw something else?
Oh, here. It was on her Instagram.
Oh, I should follow her.
Oh, it's not showing me which one it is. It's just like the little blurb underneath saying, I stepped away from acting in September 2022 to focus solely on the women life freedom uprising in Iran.
Oh,
And then
that's cool.
that's like her main link on Instagram, and then it doesn't show me like what post that was from, though. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's where I saw her in. She was in Ben-Hur or in Hotel Mumbai. That's what I saw her in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I didn't know the name so much, but it's one of those where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, her face looks familiar. Yeah, damn. Well, onwards and upwards, and good for her, as Lucille Bluth would say. That's crazy. It would be so traumatizing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
Oh, man. Well,
Damn.
it'll be a fun one next week, too. We'll be back for 150.
And we can let everybody know we're taking a break for the month of June.
Gonna take a month off, baby.
Yeah, we're still gonna be working on stuff, but it won't be getting released. So if you miss us a whole bunch, you can join our Patreon and then catch up. Oh my god, Gordo. Excuse you. Fuck's sakes, buddy.
He's jumping to the keyboard to join now.
Yeah.
Run, Gordo, run.
Where's your wallet? Where's your little... It's your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good time to join Patreon. You could also join for free. Check out what's going on there. See if you like it. And if you see one you do want to watch, well, join on up. You can always leave after you watched whatever you wanted.
No, you can never leave. We're a cult.
Right? Oh my god. I don't know. Something about, people that are like, commitment. You're like, it's not really that much commitment.
Yeah. I've joined a lot of patrons, watched what I want, listened to, or watched what I wanted to, and they're canceled. And it's like, why are you leaving? And I was like,
Yeah, it depends.
I don't lie. I just say, hey, I wanted to access to this.
Well, because not every podcast you listen to is going to be your favorite one. But with your favorite one, you're going to want all the extra goodies. And that's always the way it is. Yeah. So next week, we will be doing some Patreon-inspired segments, such as like the Two Truths, One Lie. We did a creepy story, that version of that on Patreon one time, which was kind of fun, where we kind of picked a creepypasta and two true scary stories and had to guess. And yeah, we're gonna maybe do some fun stuff like that. And then if you like that stuff, you can definitely head on over to Patreon.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/castles and cryptids for more castles, more cryptids all the time.
The castles are castlier.
We do have the castliest castles.
Hi, baby.
And if you come into anything else that says castles and cryptids, but it's not us, you know, they say flattery is what is it? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But look out, there might be imposters out there that also use the name castles and cryptids.
Yeah, I have no update on that, but
anyway, we're the OG, and we hope you love us.
Yeah.
And thank you. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you that are on Patreon. We would like to thank you. You make this podcast happen. And say goodbye to Gordo. Bye. Oh yeah, until the next time. In the meantime, keep it cryptic. Okay, you just like existential sigh. No, that's a good note just for me to start on. For me to be like, how long have we been doing this? I'm fine. It's okay.
80 that the Titanic, if 84 years.
It's been 84 years. Oh, we never record on a Monday. I have such weird energy right now. No.
Not normally. I don't think we've done some Monday evenings, but never a Monday afternoon. This is very weird.
And they got all addicted to the vamp blood together.
Oh.
Hang on. Now it's gonna drive me crazy, and I already have Katy Perry's stuff half Googled up here. Katy Perry look-alike actress. What's her name? Liz. Oh, she's nowhere. Don't do this to me. I don't know. I'll fucking. Thank you for listening to Castles and Cryptids. We love all our listeners and appreciate every subscriber, every new review, every listen, rate, and download. Our music is by Kobe Off Air, and our cover art is by Antonio Garcia. We are also a proud member of Darkcast Network, where you can find the best and spookiest of all indie podcasts. Follow us on social media, where we are at Castles and Cryptids on mostly all of the things, now including TikTok. Check out our bonus content on Patreon. Cryptid clashes, video minisodes of your host making asses of themselves, Ask Me Anything, quizzes, other special episodes, and more. Starting at just $2 a month, you can get 1 to 2 extra episodes, depending on your level. We produce, edit, and research everything ourselves, and any support you can lend helps us to keep it cryptic.